welcome to today's session. My name is Gemma Margerison, the Resilience and Recovery Coach, and today I'm joined by our special guest, Dawn Elliott. Hi, Dawn.
Hi, Gemma. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, the sun's out as well today, so it's an even better day.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. Dawn, please can you start off by telling us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Okay, no problem. Yep, I'm Dawn and I've got a sewing tuition franchise called So Confident Chorley in Chorley Town Centre. I've got a studio and we do classes for adults and children, from beginner sewing classes to advanced dressmaking. We do knitting, crocheting, all sorts of different crafts. We try and sort of cover a whole range, and we're always introducing new classes as well to keep our customers interested. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're about. We're all about sort of sewing to bring people together, mainly the social side as well, and it's obviously really good for your mental health and well-being, just having that little bit of time to yourself to switch off from technology and just be creative and relax, and a bit of me time really, which I think everybody needs, especially after the last sort of 15 months or so.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you get into that?
It's a bit strange really. I've always been creative from sort of a young age. I started sewing mainly as a hobby, and sort of my mum and auntie did a lot of sewing when I was younger. My mum is more of a knitter than actually sort of sewing and dressmaking. I did textiles at GCSE and then didn't do anything. I really regret not going into sort of the textile industry or sort of furthering my education that way, but I took a sort of safe route. I suppose a lot of people did it sort of years ago. Did business studies and accountancy, and then had office job after office job. And it wasn't until I've got a 12 and a 16-year-old, it wasn't until my daughter was looking at her GCSE options, and I just she was asking me lots of questions, and I just kept saying to her, do what makes you happy, Sophia. And she turned around, she went, you're not happy. And it really made me sort of look at my life, and I just kind of thought, you know, she's right, life's too short. I wasn't enjoying myself. A lot of people had always said, you're really patient, why don't you look into teaching? But I didn't fancy, I didn't know what subjects to do. And then I just started looking at different options, and then I thought I'll just go and further my own sort of, a lot of my sewing skills, I'm quite self-taught. But I thought I'll go and see what's out there, what maybe classes I can do. And there just wasn't anything similar to what I've obviously set up. There was a lot of night classes, a lot of colleges and things weren't doing sewing classes. And then I just so happened to find So Confident online, and looked, and I thought, oh, they're in Scotland, and I'm obviously from Scotland originally, but I thought I'm not moving back up to Scotland again to go to sewing classes. So I luckily looked along on their website, and it said, are you looking to set up your own business? Would you fancy having a franchise? And yeah, I kind of just filled in the application, and yeah, it just happened. It felt right, and no regrets. So I left a really good sort of office manager's position for an engineering company, and took the plunge.
Wow. Gosh, I bet that was quite different, but I guess using some of your business and some of the skills that you'd picked up along the way.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no regrets. It's been difficult, I won't lie, and especially going through a lockdown as well. But it's such a lovely industry to be in, and it's such a rewarding job as well. Just I'm meeting such lovely customers, and it's just so rewarding when someone, especially this past year, a lot of people have said to me, Dawn, I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't learnt to sew, because they've just had something to occupy their time, if they've been maybe homeschooling and just gone and sat and done a few hours after the kids have gone to bed. And yeah, it does give you that sort of bit of chill time. And just, even if you're not the best of, so a lot of people said, I'm not great, but again, it's all practice. We don't expect anyone that comes in our class to be amazing sewers. You just obviously want to get the confidence to be able to make things.
Yeah. So it must have been, I guess, really difficult for you over the past 15 months with people not being able to meet face to face. How did you manage to kind of keep your business going?
We set up some like mini websites. So I did have a haberdashery area in the studio, which was mainly for customers if they wanted to buy something during a class. So we cloned the main Glasgow studio's website and able to have a little sort of retail side. We also put together sort of face mask making kits for people to sort of sew their own. So that kept us quite busy. Again, hand embroidery kits, we have our own little designs, so those flew out the door. We were kept quite busy. I guess people, a lot of the time we were saying, if you want to send a gift to someone, because people weren't able to see people that they loved. So I was sending them all over the UK. I even sent a couple to Australia and New Zealand.
Wow.
For customers that I'd had that said, oh, I'd really like to send something to a family member that lived overseas. So yeah, that did keep the business going. And then as a team, we decided we would do some online classes and give that a go. So like everyone, we sort of diverted to Zoom, and we sort of invested in some decent cameras and just gave that a go. But it went down really, really well. Again, it's thanks to the girl that set up the business. She's quite innovative, and she'd done a little bit of TV work as well, so she knew quite a bit about sort of the cameras and how to sort of do a mixture of live classes and pre-recorded classes. So we had some really successful online beginner sewing classes. So I think over the course of the lockdown, they took a lot of prep to sort of get the classes filled, but on one particular class, I think I had 20 customers, all online, beginners, never used a sewing machine before, and by the end of the sort of 3-week live classes, they were making things. They actually, a lot of them progressed and did the dressmaking course afterwards. So it was lovely to see, and it was nice having that sort of social interaction with people, even though it wasn't face to face. We had quite a lot of chat going on, obviously, during the live classes. And then all our classes, we do have sort of support groups on Facebook. So once you've done a class, that's not the end of it. You can kind of keep in touch with other people that you've met on the class. You can chat about what projects you're doing, maybe if you've got any advice or problems to do with any sewing project you're doing. It's really a lovely sort of social side of it. So all the tutors, we've got obviously myself and Chorley, a girl in Birmingham, we've got Dundee, and we've got Glasgow. So the 4 of us all get involved in these social groups.
Wow, that's fab. I know we've kind of talked a little bit about the social side and the benefits that has. But I guess in terms of sewing and creating, how do you think that supports people with their sort of general health and well-being?
I think it's just giving them something to focus on, because when you are doing a project, I've had quite a few. I think again, customers seem to open up when they feel safe in the environment. Especially now we're back in the studio again. I think because a lot of people have been isolated and maybe not chatting as much. People just seem to want to talk, and they've obviously got like-minded people beside them, and they maybe feel more relaxed that they can chat about things. So I think it does. It's just, it puts you in it's really strange, a bit like yoga sometimes when you're sort of immersed in a sewing project. Your brain's fully sort of concentrating on what you're doing. And yeah, it just is really good for you, whether it's hand sewing or whether it's using the sewing machine. It's just you kind of just using a particular part of your brain, I guess, for the sewing or the creative side.
Yeah, I mean, I took up crocheting when I was going through a particular period of anxiety.
Right.
And I found that counting the stitches and watching what my hands were doing just kind of helped to stop my thoughts from running away with me.
Yeah, definitely. And I do get a lot of people that have got really stressed. I've got quite a lot of nurse and doctor friends and teachers that have all got quite stressful jobs, and they just say they can't get over how much it's just they switch off and they forget about that for like an hour while they're doing some sewing. So yeah, it is good just to switch off and stop your brain from worrying about things for a bit.
Yeah, Fab. So are you back in the studio now? Are you back open?
Yeah, we opened on the 17th of May. We're on sort of restricted numbers. We can't have, normally, we still didn't have massive classes before. We would have 8 maximum on a class, whereas at the moment we're just having 5 plus a tutor. But it's still working really well. I suppose people are getting a bit more one-to-one out of it because there's less in the class. But we seem to be busier than ever. We've got obviously regular customers coming back and a lot of new faces as well. So no, it is.
Brill. So can you give us a quick sort of rundown of what classes are available at the moment?
Yeah, we have core classes that we run sort of every month. So obviously our biggest class is our beginner sewing class. So it's for people that have never touched a sewing machine before, or it could be for someone that's done a little bit at school and then never done any since. So you can either bring a sewing machine along that you've got that you want to maybe get familiar with, or you can use one of our studio machines. And we kind of start from scratch, teach you how to thread the machine, and then we jump straight into making a tote bag. Then we make a zipped pouch, we make bunting, and we do a piped and zipped cushion. So we kind of really push you to the max, try and teach you as much as we can. It's 15 hours in total of tuition that you get, and you could either decide to do it over a weekend course, an evening class, or a daytime class. So again, it fits in quite well with people that have got kids. They're sort of 10 till 2 on a weekday. So that's a core one that runs throughout the year. I teach that one. And then we've got quilting classes. So again, if someone wants to get into making quilts, we do an introduction class right up to an intermediate class. I've got 4 lovely tutors at the studio helping me with these classes. So I've got a lady called Hannah that does all our dressmaking classes. So she teaches you, this top I'm wearing is one that you could make a t-shirt. So again, we have overlocker machines, which a lot of people are like, what are those? So you have a sewing machine, and then an overlocker is what a lot of people use for dressmaking. It's a machine that has 4 threads and just finishes off all your seams and constructs your garment. So yeah, Hannah does lots of amazing sort of dressmaking classes. So a new one that we've just introduced is the dungaree class. So you make a little sort of pinafore dress, or you can make like the full length sort of trouser dungarees. We do lots of different dressmaking classes. Again, we'll do seasonal ones that we might just do once a year, and we'll have other ones that we kind of run throughout the year. We also have soft furnishings classes, so you can learn how to do, again, no sewing skills required at all to make a lampshade. So you just bring in 1/2 metre of your chosen fabric and we show you how to make your own lampshade. We also do Roman blind and curtain classes. I've got a soft furnishings tutor who does those for me. And then we're going to be introducing crochet classes again. I've just found a new tutor from a crochet classes. So that'll be a nice one to do. And we've got a lot of new classes. We listen to what our customers want, and we kind of look at what's on trend, what's on fashion, and we just try and bring in new classes. And we'll be obviously leading up to Christmas soon as well, which is fastly approaching.
Yeah, no, that's great, thank you. So how can people get in touch with you or find out more?
They can find us on our social media channels, so So Confident Chorley on Facebook, or on Instagram. They can obviously go to So Confident, or myself, I'm at So Confident Dawn. And we also have a website, so it's just www.soconfident.co.uk, and you just select, obviously that takes you to the main website, and then you can go to the individual studios. So obviously if you were interested in the Chorley one, you would click on Chorley.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Dawn. It's been really lovely to have you. Definitely having a look at signing up to those crocheting classes. Very much a self-taught blanket, crocheting blankets. That's about as intricate as I can get. But yeah, no, thank you so much. It's been really great to have you.
A pleasure. Thank you.
If you have any questions for myself or Dawn, please do leave us a comment. Please like, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will see you again next time. Thank you.